Okay, so you've had one of those days. You get into bed, you're completely exhausted, but your mind, it just will not shut off. If that sounds familiar, this is for you. We're gonna break down a really simple technique you can use to get better sleep, and you can start tonight. You know that feeling, right? Your body is screaming for rest, but your brain is just running a marathon. You're replaying that awkward conversation. You're worrying about a deadline. You're building tomorrow's to-do list. It's so frustrating being tired and wired at the same time. Let's give it a name, okay? Let's call it your worry brain. This is that part of you that just loves to grab the microphone the second your head hits the pillow. It's like an inner DJ playing all your greatest hits of anxiety, you know? That one email you forgot to send, a random worry from 3 years ago, your entire to-do list. It just goes on and on. But what if you had a remote control for that worry brain? What if you could just turn the volume down? Well, there's a really practical tool that helps you do just that, and it's called mindfulness. Now, don't let that word mindfulness scare you off. It sounds complicated, but it's not. For what we're doing tonight, it just means one thing: paying calm attention to what's happening right now. No judgment, no stress. By simply noticing your breath, you're basically unhooking from that worry brain and telling your body, hey, it's safe. It's time to rest. So how does this actually work? Well, by giving your mind a really simple job, like just feeling your breath, you interrupt that endless loop of anxious thoughts. It's like hitting pause. This simple focus on the present sends a safe to relax signal to your whole nervous system. It gently pulls you out of your head and away from the stress of stressing about not sleeping. Okay, enough of the why, let's get into the how. Here is a super simple 3-step plan you can literally use tonight to quiet your mind down and get some rest. It's really just a simple 3-step path. We've got the setup, the actual brain quieting, and then just letting go. So let's start with step 1. First up, the setup. Just do your normal thing. Brush your teeth, dim the lights, get comfortable. But here is the number 1 most important rule. Charge your phone outside of the bedroom. I'm serious. That little screen is a powerhouse of distraction, and its light is actively working against your sleep. Get it out of the room. Trust me on this. Okay, so you're settled in bed. Close your eyes and just start to notice your breath. That's it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to force it into some deep meditation breath. Just notice it. Feel the rise and fall of your stomach, or maybe the cool air at your nostrils. Think of it like watching gentle waves on a shore, just coming in and going out. Now, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna happen pretty much immediately. Your mind is gonna wander. You'll start thinking about tomorrow, or that thing you said earlier, anything. And I really need you to hear this. That is not a failure. In fact, it's a super important part of the whole process. It's totally 100% okay. It's what minds are supposed to do. You know, minds think. Just like hearts beat. Expecting your mind to go completely silent is like expecting your heart to just stop. The goal isn't 0 thoughts. That's impossible. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine you're training a really cute but very distractible little puppy. When the puppy wanders off, you wouldn't yell at it, right? Of course not. You'd be kind, you'd be patient, and you just gently guide it back. You need to treat your mind with that same kindness. And that's exactly what you do. The moment you notice, and that moment of noticing is the magic. That is mindfulness. You just kind of go, oh, there goes my mind again. And then gently, with no frustration, you just guide your attention right back to the feeling of your breath. You'll do this over and over, and that's the practice. After you've done the breath thing for a few minutes, you can try something else. Gently shift your attention down to your toes and just notice them. How do they feel? Warm? Cool? Tingly? Don't try to change anything. Then just slowly bring that gentle awareness up through your body, your ankles, your knees, all the way to the tiny muscles in your face. Just noticing. And that brings us to the final and maybe the easiest step. After a few minutes of this, just let it all go. Stop trying to focus on anything. Your job is done. Your only job now is just to rest, to just be there. In the quiet, in the dark. Now, if some last-minute thoughts pop up, don't fight them. Just imagine they're like clouds drifting across the sky, or maybe like leaves floating down a lazy river. You see them, you acknowledge them, and you just let them float on by. bringing your awareness back to the simple feeling of your body resting in bed. All right, before we wrap this up, I want to give you a few really important tips. These will help make sure your first night trying this feels like a win, no matter what happens. So how long should you do this? 5 minutes. That's it. Seriously, just set a mental goal of 5 minutes. It makes it feel so much more doable, and it takes all the pressure off. 5 minutes is way better than 0 minutes. And finally, remember this stuff. First, no pressure. Your goal isn't to force sleep to happen. It's just to calm down. Second, be kind to yourself. Getting distracted doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human and you're doing it right. And remember, this isn't some magic pill. It's a skill you're building, and it really does work with a little bit of practice. So if you forget everything else, just remember these 4 things. Lie down, notice your breath, gently return when you get lost in thought, and then just let go. And I'll leave you with one last question to take with you tonight. As you're lying there and thoughts are drifting by, just ask yourself this: if I could let go of just one worry, just for right now, what would it be?